'cause it likes to hear, I like to steer. I'm half the man I used to be. Well, I'm half the man I used to be. Well, I'm half the man I used to be. Well, I'm half the man I used to be. Half the man I used to be. Take time with a wounded hand, 'cause it likes to hear. Take time with a wounded hand, guess I like to steer. Take time with a wounded hand, 'cause it likes to hear. I like to steer. I'm half the man I used to be. Well, I'm half the man I used to be. Well, I'm half the man I used to be. Well, I'm half the man I used to be. Half the man I used to be. Half the man I used to be.
All right, I'm Jay Stone. Welcome to a brand new episode of my show at rockmetaltalk.com. That was Creep by Stone Temple Pilots, which everybody probably knows by now that Scott Weiland passed away last week. Yep, been a whole week already. I got a lot to say. I don't know how much I can say. I'm just going to sit here and play some music and remember a guy that inspired me musically. First and foremost, I love him for his music and his inspiration first, not for actually the person he was. People struggle with their demons and everything. So I watched one of his last interviews. I don't know. That interview just got on my nerves because, you know, there is obviously something going on there when you watch that interview. But when you have a legend like that in the same room with you, I had an opportunity when Scott Weiland was here. It wasn't exactly close to me to interview him. I regret, and it upsets me that I didn't drive all that way to around Destin, Florida, which is around the Panhandle, to go up there and actually do an interview. That opportunity will never, come around again. So there was opportunities when I was first coming up in music. Scott was only 6 years older than me, but he was definitely an inspiration on my music and the look I had. I only have about 5 favorite singers, I guess you could say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 favorite singers. All who inspired my music and the way I sing and the way I performed back in the day. 4 of them are dead. It's one of those lists that I must attract that type of person, which, I probably do. I always kind of did, I guess. I was always inspired by downers for some reason, but it's just one of those things. I mean, this guy's wife wrote a big long letter, his first wife and whatnot, about the kids, but people do have to glorify, he was a famous guy, so it even though we don't know him personally, it still affects us emotionally, especially me. I mean, I wore the guy's fucking t-shirt on the back of my album. I dyed my hair fucking purple. The first time I heard Stone Temple Pilots, I was working at a restaurant that was actually on Kitchen Nightmares, Peter's Pasta in Babylon, New York. And for some reason, it reminded me of Pearl Jam, but I really couldn't get the song out of my head, and I went and investigated and tried to learn as much as possible. That's when there was actually places you go. Internet was just basically beginning at that point to the public, and but I went to Looney Tunes, a CD in West Babylon, New York. I'm pretty sure it's still there. I'm down in Florida now, but that's probably one of the only record stores left. And I bought the album, and that was it. I mean, I wore a jacket on tour for months, years. I don't know how many shows it's been to, but it was a Stone Temple Pilots jacket I bought from that store. I bought one of those work jackets and bought a patch, and that Looney Tunes record shop actually sent it out and got it professionally done and stuff. I even wore it to one of Howard Stern's book signings, and he even commented on that jacket at the time. It was, you know, the guy meant a lot to me musically. The people on that list is Marilyn Manson, Scott Weiland, Axl Rose, of course, Lane from Alice in Chains. That's kind of my era. Janie Lane of Warrant, for, you know, he was a great performer, and, you know, I was a young kid when they were coming up, so he was always on the list, and he always supported my show when it was first coming up until, unfortunately, he passed away as well from his demons. Sebastian Bach is on that list, and Dee Dee Sweet from Mr. Nasty, which is a very unknown band nationwide. They have a cult following. They were on the local scene when I was growing up, so I looked up to them. So Weiland, Janie Lane, and Dee Dee, they're all dead. There's only 4 people left on that list, and you know, it's just one of those things. This isn't exactly how I wanted to, you know, do a show about Scott Weiland necessarily, but, you know, it's just one of those things that when it happened last week, I was doing a segment on the show about his live performance and whatnot, and talking about getting back with Stone Temple Pilots and that, to wake up the next, you know, Friday morning to see that this guy had died, December 3rd. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. So that's why I'm here, you know, dedicating one of my very last shows of the year to him, and remembering the music that he played. So there's a bunch of music that's definitely underrated. You know, I am going to play a couple of the hits, but I'm also, you know, Scott Weiland did a solo CD called the 12 Bar Blues, which I feel was very underrated. It was an amazing tour. I got to see it live. I actually almost was able to become a part of that tour, but, you know, at that time, a lot of things were going on in my life musically, and I was on the road, and I had a band, and, you know, I wanted to do my thing. So, can't get too much into detail, but whatever, nor do I want to. But for a guy, you know, he could play anything. He was a musical artist. He's a legend. And unfortunately, he died at the age of 48, which is way too young. He probably had a lot of life in him left, but apparently, I guess not. So, who knows at this point what exactly happened? There was supposedly drugs on the bus. That doesn't necessarily mean anything, but that's not good either. So, but that's not really what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to just, you know, remember the music and, you know, pay a tribute to someone who inspired me to actually perform. I didn't have, you know, great of success, probably because I was heavily compared to Scott Weiland and Axl Rose. The way the performance was, I did the stage antics of Marilyn Manson, so a lot of people, you know, that kind of sets you back when people can do a lot of comparisons. And I by far wasn't as, you know, skinny and whatnot, but, you know, after a certain age, you blow up like a tick eventually. So, but I don't know. I just think musically he was a great guy. He had so many different looks. I mean, every time you see him from the time they were coming up, I was watching so much stuff on YouTube, and it's just weird because over the past couple of months, I have been focusing on Stone Temple Pilots because I said some pretty harsh things about them when they had Chester in the band. It made me not want to listen to Stone Temple Pilots because I'm not a fan of Linkin Park. I'm not saying they're a bad band, but Chester did not belong in Stone Temple Pilots. And I'm known for saying that I couldn't listen to Stone Temple Pilots music anymore because it made me think of Chester fronting the band. But in these circumstances, this is what happens. And, you have to remember the music. And that's what, the guy was there for. And that's what we all know him for. We don't know him for his personal life. Some of his personal life was brought out into the public as far as, his drug use and whatnot, and it all started with one car trip,